want to move to another interesting place, and that's the FinTech zone, which Babati loves so much, but I have personal bias against. So I'm declaring my bias now that I don't know why FinTech is getting all the attraction it's getting, especially in Africa. So, for example, over $300 million already has come into Nigeria as a form of investment in the FinTech industry. And, like we're discussing the other day, I don't understand how, in the context of the continent free trade area, I see the future play, okay? But for a continent that is poor, I don't understand why we're putting so much effort into tech. I get the narratives around financial inclusion, but a lot of this also stems on education. You people don't have developed human capacity. How exactly can we really have sensible turnover, production, exchange of value, money, and all of that? I won't dwell on that argument today, but I'm still curious because Abati, you're one of the good people in that space. So I just want to know, there's so much increase in number of startups coming up from startups trying to address the problem related to FinTech. Everyone is trying to solve it. Laudable, interesting solutions are out there, which is really making life easier for millennials, Gen Z too. But I want you to talk about this influx of funding. What is driving it, really? What's the catch? What's in FinTech that the average guy on the streets might not be paying attention to? Because there is some huge value there. So I want to speak to that.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm still trying to catch my breath because of what you said. So first and foremost, I think, let me not make an assumption that we all understand what FinTech is all about. It's a name. It's as simple as it seems. There's a lot of misconception around it. So in 2 sentences, I will just state what I think FinTech is. Actually, this is an umbrella term referring to technologies, innovation methodologies, companies, new services reshaping the financial service landscape. Again, I will restate it again. It's just a term referring to technologies, innovation methodologies, and companies and new services reshaping the financial services landscape. That's what it is all about. Now, let me go specifically to what you said, and I will take all the discussion from just what you have said. I mean, very simple. And I'll use examples to illustrate them. So I will not call names of banks so that I'm not sacked. Most of the banks own me, so I'll be very careful. So if you go into the traditional banks today and you want to open an account, what they will ask you is, let me make it a little bit complicated. You want to open a corporate account. So what they will ask you is, give me your form, your CAC registration, CAC form. Give me your form CAC that is showing the director's allocation. Give me the one that is showing the shares allocation. Go and get 2 referrals from people who know you. Give me all the ID card of all your directors. Give me their tax clearance. That process can take 2 weeks. So how will you feel as a young company exec? You walk into another bank and the person only asks you, what's your telephone number? Give me the RC number of your corporate company. All your directors, just give me their telephone number. And under 2 minutes, you walk away with the corporate account number. So for me, I will ask you, so how do you feel?
I know there's that part of me that's like, I know, right? I feel good because really documentation process can be time wasting, to be frank. Correct.
So you have FinTech coming in and then using that telephone number, because there is a database that ties that telephone number to your NIN, that is fetching your passport, fetching all your details. You have the RC number that is tied to CAC, that is fetching all those information online real time. And then in 2 minutes, you are done. So what the FinTechs are doing is they are bringing value. So let me equally relate that again to the discussion we have on the African Free Trade Zone that we had initially. So, and let me share my personal experience with you. So I wanted to go into exporting agricultural produce. So the first thing they told me is, Oga, go and register with Nigerian Export Free Trade Zone. So I went there, spent 2 days, finished registration. They said, no, you have to get NAFDAC certificate. 3 months, I did not get that certificate, and I'm still on it to get the certification on those ones. By the time I finished, the goods are spoiled in the port. So I tried again. After managing to get all those things, I got to the port congestion. Before I even entered the port, it took 3 weeks. Goods have all damaged again. So how will you feel if a FinTech comes in, working with Nigerian Export Free Zone, and I'm not changing anything? I'm just saying you go onto their portal and you fill everything you are meant to fill in there. And then those who want to engage NAFDAC and have SLA and are engaging them, and then under 2 days you are getting response from them. Those who want to engage some, that single portal engages everybody, and in less than 3 days you have everything. Remember my friend who is bringing coffee in from Rwanda says in 2 days he can always predict from his farm till when that coffee gets out of Rwanda is 2 days. That is what FinTech does for you. You are asking me, why is there so much money there? Capitalists, and I'll leave that to Debo to sort out later. Capitalists will always remain capitalists. They know where the money is coming from. They are not investing for purpose of corporate social responsibility. They are investing for returns. That's the honest truth. So all those money coming in, they are expecting returns in less than 2-3 years, and they will get the returns. That's what they are after. And you can look at the various verticals that you have. I can give you a lot of examples on the various verticals. I'm giving you an example on the side of the agricultural produce for those who want to do export. And that's for all manufacturing. Okay, so let's go to a typical one again too, transportation. So you want to transport yourself, why can't, and FinTech can change the aviation industry. So why can't, as a FinTech, why can't I be saying, okay, I will buy 10,000 tickets. If you buy your ticket from me, if the airline does not leave within 1 hour, I will give you back 10% of the money. If they don't leave within 4 hours, I will return, I will fly you, I'll still return the entire money. And get FinTech to drive those kind of things. Because what they will do is to go and sit down with the aviation owners and say, okay, I will bring you 100,000 passengers in 1 month, but these are my conditions. And you will get them to deposit money so that when they fail on their rule or on their promises, you can get the money back and give it to the people that you promise. So we can have a lot of revolution, and that's what is happening now. And that's why there's so much passion about FinTech, bringing money, people. So let me give another typical example. If you want to borrow money today, they will ask you your great-grandfather where he was buried. You'll have to get certification that he was actually buried, just because they want to know you. But guess what? That does not guarantee you will pay back. That does not guarantee you have the capacity to generate the revenue you want to generate. So what do? They ask you for a house. If I have a house, why would I go and borrow money? So you have a lot of FinTech now that are doing what I call social nuisance engineering for the purpose of borrowing. So they just ask you, what's your Lintel ID, what's your tweet ID, and then they use some artificial intelligence and say, what's your spend volume, and then decide, okay, I will give you 100,000 naira. And if you don't pay that money, they just go to all those your social Lintel level and send it to all your friends that you are a debtor. And you know we don't like those kind of things in Nigeria. That company was valued when they asked people like us to come in, what's for about $1. to a share. 3 years down the line, investors are coming now and are paying $25 under 3 years. So you now ask FinTech, and that's why I said, look, that money is not for free. If you don't deliver those values within what you said you deliver. So most of them are actually looking for value. They are creating value. And because they are creating that value, the people that are pumping money in it are looking for institutions that will create value today, that they will put $1. JVs are coming in, and under 5 years, they are out again because they will sell it. They are looking for the money. The market is here, and that's what ties into the African free trade zone too. The market is in Africa. Most of those European markets are very, very well saturated, and the returns are not as much as what you will see in Africa. So, and Nigeria, with a population of 200 million, is the right place for them to be in. Like, you're saying it hasn't impacted in education. It will come. When somebody creates value in the educational sector, it will come. So I foresee a future whereby all these your private universities will disappear because people will be doing digital universities. So all those your brick and mortars will go. The issue is who can bring value, and then the communal aspect that the school brings into it can do it. So it has to be a mixture too. It cannot just be digital, because we the parents are looking for where to chase the children away. So we don't want to keep them at home. We don't want, even those of you that are parents, you say, no, they should go back to school. They should go back to school. So we see it as a runaway avenue rather than as a value add. So whoever can integrate those two together, time to play, time to read, digitalize the reading, bring down the cost of school fees. Because I tell you, I saw a secondary school fees grid for the 10 top school, and they are nearly fainted. Because all the private university, there is none as expensive as those top 10. So again, it's value creation. Create the right value with the FinTech, create it in the right verticals, and you get the right investment into those investment companies. That's what is happening. So don't begrudge them. Just pray that your own time will come when they will start investing money in your own aspect. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Baba T. Thank you. Debo, I felt like we wanted to chime in.
Yeah, what else do I say? Baba T is the expert here, but like you rightly said, I mean, investors know where the opportunities are. They know the early days is where you make your money. And of course, you rightly said it, the developed world is saturated when it comes to IT. So they are looking for where's the population, where's the opportunity for their investment to give them quick returns. And Nigeria is apparently one of them. A quick question I want to ask Babati actually is in terms of the growth we are seeing now, and I know, of course, FinTech relies heavily on data, personal data. How ready are we in terms of data protection, cybersecurity, and things like that? If you can just help us add more in that area.
Okay, so what I will say, I mean, having been a developer myself and having been gathering data and then having trying to bat a FinTech into the Nigerian economy, is to say that most of us ensure the highest level of security in terms of what we are dealing with, because there are standards, and the regulator have done very well in terms of what they have put in place. So there are standards in those things that we follow. I can't guarantee that it is everybody that is following in it, but regulation will catch up sooner or later with those that are not keeping in line with the regulation. And let me equally state that those that are investing money into those companies, look out for those things. When they are not there, even though they see the opportunities, they hold it as something that they will deal with before they handle it. However, let me state that in this part of the world, we are misinterpreting that the data protection stuff. We are misinterpreting it big time. So education, again, is another major thing here. Most of the financial institutions think they speak with one mouth, open banking, open banking, open banking. And then when it comes to, and it should be open banking as a service, is they should open up their customers for other people to leverage on that information. But no, they're just paying lipstick service to it. When it comes to the actual operation or the so-called data protection stuff, it's a different ballgame entirely. I speak as an operator, so, and I know the fight and the struggle I've had to go through with the financial institution to get to where I am today. But again, we're not very ready on that. But in terms of the technology, the security one, the cyber attacks, I think I need to give kudos to the regulators and the operators in Nigeria. We've done well on that. There's still room for improvement, please. That's not what I'm saying, because we have some players that don't have a clue on what encryption, on what security, on what risk managements are, and they are still operating. But the good thing is that when those investors come, they insist, because they know that in a day, their investment can disappear. So they insist on ensuring that those things are in place. So we are not there yet, Debo. We are close by to there, but we understand what it takes. And I believe with the right mix of people, both in the regulatory aspect and in the operator aspect, we'll get to where we need to get to.
Okay.
Sorry, let me just say quickly that I think open banking is an issue everywhere. I'm sure it's not just in Nigeria, even in the US and Canada. The big banks, the traditional banks, do not really want to open up everything. So I think Nigeria is still on the right path. It will take some time, but I think, yeah, probably eventually it's going to happen.
Thank you, Debo, for asking that. I'm also aware that the data protection policy is something that is being pushed. A lot of education has to go into that, like Babati rightly said. I've gone through the policy myself, and sometimes you read it and you're not clear and you're asking questions. There's been mandates for most companies who reserve data for, I think, more than maybe 1,000 or 500. There's a certain number. You're supposed to have what they call a data protection officer, a DPO, who's supposed to be certified, trained. So basically, someone who's responsible to drive your compliance. So those are things that the regulators are pushing now. The extent to which this has been fully implemented or compliance level, last I checked before COVID, compliance level was still generally very low across the industry. But something Babati touched on that I also support will drive it is, I don't expect investors to put in money without doing due diligence. And your data protection is one of the things you have to insist that the firms that you invest into put in place. And I even think for individuals, those are some questions that we should feel comfortable to ask. Well, how protected is my data? Why are you asking me for this? Because those are some of the things the policy touches on. That why, okay, so why do you need this information? How long do you keep it? If I don't want you to keep my data again and I say delete it, I want evidence that it's deleted. So to a large extent, there's still room for public awareness. There's still room for corporate level education and sensitization, as you might want to call it. But yes, we're making good progress in that regard. Now, to jump on